All right, guys, it looks like we are live. Real quick, let me go through, let me change the thumbnail for everybody because I know nobody's going to click on this video if it's just my ugly face at the beginning. And also, I have a massive announcement. If you are in a Patreon Flock League, league dues are required by January 20th if you want to lock in your spot for this year's action. And yeah, because of that, I'll let everyone else know. I know we've been having questions every single day when the new members on Patreon can get in those Dynasty Fantasy Football Leagues, when we are going to be creating new leagues, when we are going to have spots open up in the current leagues. And we're going to start filling those January 21st. So please, guys, just make sure y'all are checking out Patreon. Make sure y'all are just looking for the announcements, because that is where all the information is going to be updated, and there should be a decent amount that happens over the next week. That's all I am going to say. But please, if you are currently in a Flock Patreon Dynasty League, reach out to me. I want you to be in the league this upcoming season. I don't want to replace your spot with a new listener. So let's get those league dues in so I don't have to worry about it. This is the worst part of having to go out there and create these dynasty leagues and run them. It's just trying to collect league dues. I know a lot of people want free leagues, but the problem with that is just nobody really takes those leagues into consideration when they are setting their lineups every Sunday. Nobody really cares about the league that you don't have money on the line for. So we are going to try to keep that $60 buy-in strong, just because that's a nice range where generally if you're paying $60 for a league, you are going to be taking it serious, and that's a decent price point as well where most people can get in. I know everybody's in a different situation, but yeah, I think that's the best way we can go about this. Let me slide over real quick and get y'all the link for everybody that's hanging out in the live stream that wants to join this mock draft that we are going to be kicking off. Also, let me know if we have anything wrong on the live stream right now. Let me know if we have any problems in lag and in echo that I can go through and fix. But I'll also say, if you're watching this as a video later on, please make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure you turn notifications on for our channel. That way you get notified the next time we go live. That way you can hop in this live stream yourself. But anyway, let me send out this link in the group chat so everybody can run over to Patreon real quick and shoot me that DM without having to leave the live stream. Okay, so as usual, guys, we are going to be doing this mock draft through Patreon, where just shoot me that direct message over there if you would like to participate, and then I'll get you the link to join the draft. But let me send this out in the group chat real quick. I'm sorry, the live chat. I'm so sorry. Okay, perfect. Got that out. Let me pin that to the top. And let me see who all has DM'd us to get into this mock draft. Usually these have been filling up very, very, very soon. So if y'all want to get in, please make sure you shoot me that DM on Patreon ASAP. Okay, yeah, we already have a ton of links. Going to get this out to Tanner right now. We're going to go with the next one to Noah. Then Seth coming out here, sending you that link. My man Nathan coming out yet again, getting you that link. Robert, yet again, putting you down for this mock draft. Okay, perfect. Yeah, let me know, guys, if y'all sent me a DM on Patreon and I've yet to get you the link to join this mock draft. I am going to be doing this mock draft a little bit differently, where this time I'm going to be drafting from the 106. Y'all know up until this point, I've been sticking with either the 1st or the 12th pick. That way I can go through and give my thoughts on every single selection without having to say where I would go, so I didn't get sniped on my upcoming pick. But this one's going to be a little bit different. I think that picking at the 101 is very, very simple in your strategy. Picking at the 112 kind of puts you in a harder spot, but you don't have that many options to go through. The 106 is going to be a nice balance where you can build your team a different way. So I think over the next few mocks, I'm going to be picking in the middle of the draft. That way y'all can come through and y'all can see my strategy out of these spots. But let me check the general chat real quick as we wait. And I want to point out something insane real quick, guys. Okay, so we only have about 30 something people watching this live stream, and we already have 20 likes in the live stream. So over half of y'all watching the live stream have already decided to go down there and drop the like. I'm checking the general chat right now, and I already see people like Marcus reminding everybody to drop a like on the video or the live stream, however you are watching this. And that is a massive, massive help to make us continue to be the fastest growing Dynasty Fantasy Football channel on YouTube. Y'all know I was pretty much one of the only Dynasty Fantasy Football channels on YouTube for the past 2 years, if not truly the only Dynasty Fantasy Football channel. Now we have a ton of people on here, mainly probably because how we were able to grow the main channel. But regardless, we are going to ignore that. We are going to keep on doing us. We created this second one to deviate for our main channel, so the main one can be a strictly redraft. But yeah, Cody getting you that link out right now. Justin got you one right now. And now let's go. Okay, so Marcus got you, my man. And then let's get Nicholas. Nicholas, super happy to see you out here. Okay, so perfect. Got those links out. It looks like we have about 3 or 2 spots left in this mock draft. So guys, make sure if y'all are wanting to join, shoot me that DM ASAP. And real quick, I am so sorry, guys. I did not realize that we were out of Patreon spots on the OG Flock tier. I've been kind of limiting those up until this point just because I want to make sure our general Patreon chat does not get overflown. And that is when I'm going to draw the hard cap. But until that happens, I will go through and I will create more spots on the OG Flock Patreon tier. Let me go do that right now for y'all. If anybody, I completely understand. I mean, not wanting to pay $10 a month to join the Patreon, that is fine. Let me open up the $3 tier for anybody wanting to sign up. So yeah, I did not realize we were sold out on that tier. I'm going to open it up for everybody in the live stream right now or anybody watching this video afterwards. Let's throw on another 10 or 15. Let's do 15. Let's throw on another 15 spots, just because we have all of those Dynasty Leagues opening up in the following week. And I know we need some new people in these mock drafts. So yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, Alejandro says he shot us a DM on Patreon. Let me go over there and check that, my man. Okay, so Bryce got you, sending that out. Picky 6 got you. Alejandro sent it as well. Perfect. Looks like those links should be out. Maybe we have 1 spot left over. Let me count them up. Okay, so I see we have Nash going out there with the 2nd pick this time. Going to be very interested to see where Nash decides to go at the 102. I think the 102 is probably the hardest selection to make this year because you have the clear selection in the Superflex League of Patrick Mahomes at the 101. Then you have the drop-off to the 3-down running backs. And I know there is some conversation centered around Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara. I'm going to be making a video on who I think should be the Dynasty running back 1. That video should probably come out tomorrow. But anyway, we have 1 spot left for this mock draft. So guys, if y'all want to join, make sure you send me that direct message as soon as possible. Until then, let me read the general chat real quick and let me see if we have any other questions that we should get to. Okay, so Alejandro shot you that DM. Victor, yes, Victor, man, please, let me shoot you that link on Patreon real quick. I'm sorry, not on Patreon, on Discord, just because it should be fast for me too. Okay, perfect, got you that link, Victor. Okay, so hopefully there's still a spot available for you. Yeah, so there's 1 more spot, that is the 101. So please run over there and click that as fast as possible. And then we will be starting this mock draft off. But guys, I want to remind everyone, I mean, we just created some more of those Flock original tiers. So if anybody's wanting to get into a league this week, if anybody's wanting to take up one of those spots and play in a Dynasty League with us, that is going to be the best way you can go about it. But anyway, let's start this draft. Let me switch this over for us. Okay, perfect. We are good to go. And let's get this draft going. Victor is on the clock with the 101. I'm assuming he's going to go Mahomes, at least in my opinion. That's the easiest selection for the 101 right now. Okay, so let's see. Picky6 saying he claimed the 111 instead of the 101. We have Astro17 coming out and asking who has the higher upside, DJ Chark or Laviska Shenault. There we definitely have to go with DJ Chark. I mean, I know Laviska is supposed to be this elite level athlete, and I believe that he is a great athlete, but we don't necessarily have the exact numbers we would like to see because he was injured during the NFL Combine this past season. And we know with DJ Chark, we've already seen him have a very high target share in Jacksonville in 2019. So I think if he's able to maintain that target share with his athletic profile that we saw from him coming out of LSU as a spark monster, DJ Chark actually has a ton of upside with Trevor Lawrence. But we have our first snipe. I was planning on going with Saquon Barkley here at the 106, really hoping that Barkley was going to fall to us. He's been falling to the 107, 108 in most of these Dynasty mock draft startups, and I think that is absolutely ridiculous for a running back who was a monster in back-to-back seasons in 2018 and 2019. In 2020, tore that ACL at the very beginning of the season, so he should be good to go this upcoming year. Okay, real quick, we are going to be looking at one of two players at this pick. We are going to be either taking Jonathan Taylor or Kyler Murray, depending on who Noah decides to pass on. I mean, I think with Jonathan Taylor, he has a case to be made to be going ahead of Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, all of those running backs confidently because he is tied to that rookie contract still. But Jonathan Taylor goes off the board. So here we are going to be taking Kyler Murray, who was my 105 pick in Superflex startups a season ago, behind Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, and Saquon Barkley. So the fact that he had his massive blow-up year in 2020 and we are still able to get him at the 106, I think is a great value. So yeah, let's take him off the board as our first quarterback. And if this is your first time watching one of our mock draft startups, here I'm going to give everyone a massive spoiler. I mean, what we are looking to do in this draft, go quarterback, running back very early and often. I mean, you are not wanting to take a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds in 2021 based on the fact that there is so much wide receiver value falling to you later in the draft, and these running backs and these quarterbacks get soaked up so early on. We have DeAndre Swift going off the board at the 108. I love that selection. I know a lot of people are going to hate to see that when Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Zeke are still available. But with DeAndre Swift, very similar to what I said with Jonathan Taylor. I mean, this is a running back that is one of the safest assets that you can invest into, centered around the fact that he is on that rookie contract. He is a superb pass catcher. He was my running back 1 going into the NFL draft in 2020. I did not think that Jonathan Taylor was going to be as good of a pass catcher as he proved to be during his rookie season. So I loved DeAndre Swift in PPR formats. But yeah, it looks like we probably should have had Jonathan Taylor at running back 1. And I'll be also completely transparent. After we had Damian Williams hold out due to COVID, then I definitely jumped Clyde Edwards-Helaire up to that running back 1 spot, as most people did. Still think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a massive value. And oh my God, guys, I just checked the live stream real quick. 43 likes already on the stream. I mean, this is why we are the fastest growing Dynasty Fantasy Football channel on YouTube, and it's because everybody that's a part of the flock is absolutely insane in how much they decide to support the channel, and I owe y'all a massive, massive thank you for doing so. But anyway, here is exactly what we are expecting to see. First round, only quarterbacks and running backs. Honestly, that's probably the way that it should be. Very sorry if y'all are unable to see the very end of the draft board. Let me slide that over for y'all right now. Okay, yeah, I should probably pay a little bit more attention and get this situated where y'all can see the entire draft board all the time. We'll work on doing that this upcoming stream. Okay, but we have Justin Herbert falling down to the 202. This is actually the latest I've seen Justin Herbert go in one of these mock drafts. And honestly, coming from someone who has Justin Herbert on so many Dynasty Superflex rosters, I think this is a fair evaluation of him. I mean, I completely understand wanting to take Russell Wilson ahead of him, like I discussed in this past live stream with Russell Wilson being the picture-perfect definition of consistency year after year after year. I mean, Tio Kappa even DM'd us after the live stream last night, letting us know, hey man, I mean, Russell Wilson has yet to even miss a game over the past like 5 seasons in his NFL career. I mean, so hard to find a quarterback that's going to be able to provide you that type of high-end consistency. But now we are going to have a tough decision coming up with the 207. I mean, the best players available on the board right now are Nick Chubb, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Ezekiel Elliott, Justin Jefferson. Dak Prescott just goes off the board. So if we are looking at quarterback, by far and away, the best quarterback available is going to be Joe Burrow. If we are looking at running back, the best running backs are going to be Nick Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders, Cam Akers. So here it really is going to come down to, do we want to take Cam Akers, who is 16 months younger than Najee Harris? Absolutely insane. Or do we want to take Joe Burrow? And honestly, I'm going to give the tiebreaker down to the fact that Darrell Henderson is still on that rookie contract. Darrell Henderson should be part of that committee over the next few seasons. I don't see it in the range of outcomes for Cam Akers to turn into this Todd Gurley type player. So we're going to take the asset that we know has a ton of value, especially if the Cincinnati Bengals decide to go out there and take a Devontae Smith or a player like Jamar Chase in the top 10 of the NFL draft this season. I mean, giving Joe Burrow another weapon like that when Joe Burrow already has some mobility to his game could really elevate him to be an elite level quarterback. And now that we've taken Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow with our first 2 picks, honestly, not ideal in my opinion. I would have loved to see us land a Clyde Edwards-Helaire with the 207. But this means we are now going to be off the quarterback bandwagon for the next 10 rounds pretty much. We have to pray that we get a running back falling to us at the 306. I have someone in mind. I'm not going to say anything else other than that because I do not want to be sniped on him. But yeah, Noah decides to go with Cam Akers at the 208 ahead of Nick Chubb, which honestly I believe to be the better selection. I know that is insane as so many people love Nick Chubb, and I'll say right away, Nick Chubb is a much better running back than Cam Akers from an NFL standpoint. If we are just talking about you building an NFL team, you're a general manager, you would much prefer having Nick Chubb over Cam Akers. But we are not building an NFL team right now. What we are trying to do is we are trying to score these fake, literal fantasy points. And how you do that is you look at situation combined with the career level of the player. Cam Akers still on that rookie contract for the next 3 seasons, combined with the fact that he is going to be playing on a team that does not want to pass the ball heavily, and they do not have a significant investment into any other running back outside of Darrell Henderson. Beyond him, I think that he is going to be the better selection over Nick Chubb. I also want to say that Cam Akers at this point is most likely 4 or 5 years younger than Nick Chubb, but we can find this out right now, okay? I'm putting my foot down. I know that Cam Akers is 21 years old. Nick Chubb, I'm going to be going out on a limb. He was drafted in the 2018 class. He stayed 4 years at Georgia. So we are going to be saying that Nick Chubb's most likely 25. So yeah, Cam Akers most likely 4 years younger. Let's check this out. Okay, so let me see if we can see player card. So yeah, Cam Akers, 21 years old. Let's go over to Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb, 25, exactly. And guys, I'll say this all the time. Y'all know last live stream I was talking about the fact that age does not matter with a quarterback like Russell Wilson, because at the quarterback position, the career type does not necessarily, I'm sorry, I worded that so poorly, but we know the career arc does not drastically fall off a cliff with those quarterbacks as they age. But with running backs, I think the perfect example of this is, guys, let me know in the general chat right now. Everybody run to the general chat because we can all agree Todd Gurley is toast. Todd Gurley is not going to be a starting running back in 2021. I would be surprised if he's a top 24 running back. And we can all agree at some point in his NFL career, he was the most talented running back in football. Let me know how old y'all think he is. Spam that number in the general chat. How old is Todd Gurley? But anyway, guys, we are about to be up at the 306, and we have yet to see a wide receiver go off the draft board. This is exactly what you should expect to see in your Dynasty startup drafts this offseason, because these wide receivers, I promise y'all, we are going to be getting to rounds 4, 5, and 6, and you're going to be like, holy hell, how are you going to be looking at wide receivers that are that solid in those rounds? and it's because running backs and quarterbacks go right away. Okay, so people are saying he's 26, 27, 31, 26, 26, 29. Okay, 27. Yeah, guys, Todd Gurley's 26 years old. I mean, Todd Gurley is 1 year older than Nick Chubb. Todd Gurley is the same age as Aaron Jones, at least last I saw. Let me double check real quick. Maybe Todd Gurley turned 27 by the last time I talked about this. No, he's still 26. I mean, these running backs fall off so fast. I know nobody likes to talk about it, but what you have to do is you have to look at the contract situation. You have to look at the type of running back. And Todd Gurley, someone, yes, I know he's a little bit of a different example because he has arthritis in his knee. We know that he has that wear and tear. But everybody, I just want to point out one fact. Nick Chubb has had a significant knee injury in his, I don't want to say NFL career, but his football career dating back to Georgia. So I don't think he's some safe long-term asset as Cam Akers is. So I'm going to put my stamp of approval on that Cam Akers selection over Nick Chubb at the 208. Okay, so I see Dejan coming in, says, I traded Nick Chubb for CeeDee Lamb in a first in my Dynasty League. Is this a good move? I think that is a fantastic move if you are not a contending team. But anyway, we are up on the clock at the 306, and I think our running back is still available, and yes, he is. And I know this goes against avoiding our running backs that are off their rookie contracts, but what this is going to do for us is it's going to give us that 3-down running back at a discount due to his injury this past season. And we are going to get a nice built-in stack with Joe Burrow. And we are essentially putting all of our chips in that Cincinnati train right now, saying, you know what, if Burrow is able to come back, if he's 100% healthy, if this offense is above average, we are going to have a significant team on our hands. And we are going to be taking Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is also significantly younger than most people want to believe. I know I just got done talking about Nick Chubb being 25 and drafted from the 2018 NFL draft class. Joe Mixon was actually drafted in the second round of the 2017 NFL draft class, but he was drafted at 20 years old, so he's significantly younger than some of these other running backs. I believe Joe Mixon is either 24 or 25. Let me see this real quick. Okay, so yeah, Joe Mixon still only 24. I know that's going to surprise a ton of people with how long he's been in the NFL, but that's one reason you want to target the running backs that are extremely young coming into the NFL, as they are more likely to play through their second contracts. They're less likely to be that David Johnson type player. But anyway, let me go through real quick and let's see something here. Let me slide this over for all of y'all to check out. Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, we have like 80-something people watching this live stream right now and 60 likes. You are literally not going to find that. I don't care if it's a fantasy football channel, whatever kind of channel it is. You are not going to find that on any other YouTube channel. Y'all are absolutely insane. Thank y'all all so much for the support. Y'all do not know how much I appreciate it. Y'all don't know how impactful y'all are being with growing this channel. And that's why we are the flock. I mean, we are all in this together. And I truly appreciate what y'all been able to do for me so far in this very early history of this channel. But anyway, let's go through, and this is one reason I didn't want to pick in the middle of the draft, because I'm going to be having to pay attention to who's available a little bit more without having to give my direct thoughts on it, because I'm not wanting to be sniped. I mean, I'm only 5 picks away from being on the clock here yet again. And let me just go through for everybody wondering, because I know it's hard to see on the screen, but the best players available by position are at quarterback, Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan, Daniel Jones. And then at running back, you have Austin Eckler, Chris Carson, Kenyon Drake, Kareem Hunt, Zach Moss, Melvin Gordon, A.J. Dillon. At wide receiver, you have DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson. So yeah, this is exactly why we decided to go quarterback and running back early. As y'all are hearing, we still have Hopkins, you still have Michael Thomas, you still have A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, all available to you in the middle of the 4th round. And if you were waiting on running back, if you thought you were going to be able to come away with someone that had long-term value, you were sadly mistaken, because there is not a single running back on here that is guaranteed to have long-term value. So yeah, I mean, this is why you have to understand how these drafts are going to be going this offseason. This is why you have to target running back and quarterback very early on. And honestly, I was kind of in a tough spot debating on if both Jonathan Taylor and Kyler Murray fell to me at the 106, who I was going to decide to go with. And I think at this point, after you see these drafts enough, you have to just assume that taking Jonathan Taylor in the first round would be a much better selection. We did not get that chance in this draft. We had to go with Kyler Murray, but just for future reference. And here, the wide receivers still available are DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, all in a similar range for me if you look at their age, if you look at their recent production. But considering we took Kyler Murray in the first round, and y'all know how big I am on stacking these players, as yes, it lowers your floor slightly, but you are making those correlated bets in your starting lineup saying, hey, you know what, if I get this one bet right, I am most likely going to be right at this other spot in my starting lineup. And that's how you build a juggernaut team. So for that reason, we are going to be taking DeAndre Hopkins in the 4th round, and we have a nice built-in stack with 2 extremely young quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, who was drafted in 2019 with the 1st overall pick to the Arizona Cardinals, and his number 1 alpha wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins, and Joe Burrow, who was drafted number 1 overall in 2020 by the Cincinnati Bengals, and his bell cow running back in Joe Mixon. Okay, so yeah, pretty much our team is going to come down to, hey, what can Arizona, what can Cincinnati do? And when that is the case, when you are playing in a 12-man league, and if you have 1 or 2 events that break your way and you have the potential to win the league, that is a complete smash. But let's see where Noah decides to go here. Noah decides to double down and take another veteran wide receiver in Michael Thomas. I love this start by Noah. I know Noah has been in multiple mock drafts so far with us, but getting your 2 bell cow 3-down running backs that are still on their rookie contracts in Jonathan Taylor and Cam Akers to start it off is fantastic. And then you double it down with 2 wide receivers that have the potential to be the wide receiver 1 overall in fantasy. It's just a great way to go about it with both Michael Thomas and Devontae Adams. So yeah, I mean, if Noah can find himself quarterback production later on in the draft, I mean, he is going to be building a monstrous team. I like his start so far way more than how I like our start. I think at this point, we just kind of have to look at that Joe Burrow selection bias and go, you know what, Mason, that was probably a mistake. We should have gone with Cam Akers, given the injury that Joe Burrow suffered, combined with the fact that we would be able to find quarterback value later on, a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo at the very end of the draft that could possibly find himself in a starting job. But anyway, let me go through. And guys, if y'all have not already, please make sure y'all go down there, drop a like on the video, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel as it helps us out so much. And also turn on notifications next to that subscribe button if y'all want to get notified next time we go live. That way you can come in and you can join the mock draft right away. But anyway, we are on a little bit of a wide receiver run here. Out of the last, I want to say, what is that now? 8 picks. We've only had 1 running back go off the board. Okay, A.J. Dillon going off the board at the 501 by Victor, getting this stack with Aaron Rodgers, and coming from someone who has A.J. Dillon in a decent amount of dynasty leagues. Y'all know I got clowned on for nonstop talking about the fact that Aaron Jones was an unrestricted free agent this upcoming season, and the team decided to draft A.J. Dillon in the 2nd round instead of extending Aaron Jones. This was my main storyline in offseason ago. People wanted to laugh at me. People told me, Mason, you don't know what you're talking about. Aaron Jones is an elite running back. And I said, yes, I understand that. Aaron Jones is fantastic. I have FaceTimed with Aaron Jones before. I literally am a friend of a friend with Aaron Jones. I'll say that. But what we look at with these running backs is the fact that you fall off after that rookie contract so fast, not only in production, but also in just straight up dynasty value, regardless of if you're producing or not. But I'll say with A.J. Dillon at the 501, way too early. In any league that I am in, if I got approached with an offer of any of these wide receivers still on the board where I have A.J. Dillon, they're going, Mason, for A.J. Dillon, I'll give you any of these wide receivers. Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Ayuk, DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kenny Golladay, Cooper Kupp. I mean, any of those guys, I'd be going, give me the wide receiver. I'd be drooling at the mouth, begging y'all to take A.J. Dillon off of my roster. So yeah, Victor, man, I like the excitement in wanting to reach on an A.J. Dillon there. But to be completely honest, you maybe have had a shot on him with the 6'12", So I think I would have passed there, but that is just me. And we are about to be up on the clock with the 506. And if we're looking at the running back still available, not interested in any of these guys. Chris Carson, Kenyon Drake, Kareem Hunt, Zach Moss, Melvin Gordon. I don't want any of those guys in this range. Quarterback, we're not even going to be looking at, as we already have Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow. But if we slide over to the wide receiver spot, there's going to be Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, DJ Moore, Julio Jones, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Adam Thielen. Okay, so we are going to be put in a very difficult spot at the 506 because right now I am looking at definitely having DJ Moore as our best player available on the board. But with T. Higgins, we could complete that Cincinnati Bengals stack. We're just saying, hey, you know what? If Joe Burrow can elevate his game, if he can become a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, I mean, we are winning this league. So we are stuck in a very difficult spot. We are pretty much asking ourselves, how much are you willing to go out there and reach on a player to get that stack rather than taking best player available? So yeah, here, oh man, you guys, this is something that I really have to debate. I'll say that if this was a real Dynasty league where I was able to trade throughout the course of the offseason, I'd be taking DJ Moore here without even thinking about it. But because this is a mock draft where we are just taking our teams and quote-unquote rolling with it, this becomes a very difficult spot. And you know what? Sometimes you just got to say F it. Sometimes you got to take the slightly worse player to get that correlation in your starting lineup. So we are going to be taking T. Higgins here over DJ Moore, all just because we already have Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon to start off this team. So we can pretty much name this draft the Cincinnati Bengals onslaught. Yeah, DJ Moore going right after us. That's a fantastic selection by Berto. Okay, but anyway, we have our first donation coming in for the live stream. Thank you so much, Alejandro. My man, guys, if y'all don't know who Alejandro is, he is Wanted Alex in this mock draft. He has been a massive supporter for the channel for a very long time now. And he's saying, in a league with 0.75 tight end premium startup, how soon would he be taking a tight end? Obviously, Alejandro, this is a very difficult question to answer because every tight end is going to be looked at in a separate range of the draft. But if we are going through, and let's just use this mock draft as a great example. So if this is a 1.75 PPR for the tight end position, and I play in about 2 of those leagues, I have a separate league that's also 0.15 points for every tight end receiving yard and 1.5 per reception. So that's a crazy tight end premium. What you have to realize in those formats is players like George Kittle, players like Travis Kelce are literally going to be league winners. So in a 1.75 tight end premium league, I mean, a player like George Kittle, who is that elite asset over a long duration of time, here he went at the 401. In that type of format, I mean, I would prefer having George Kittle over pretty much every player that went before the 109. I mean, I would prefer having George Kittle over Deshaun Watson. And keep in mind, I play in these formats. I have George Kittle in these formats. I would prefer having Kittle over Alvin Kamara, over J.K. Dobbins, over Dalvin Cook. But keep in mind, I also just have a massive man crush on George Kittle. I mean, I look at him in the same light of a Travis Kelce. I had him as our tight end 1 coming into this season in 2020. Obviously not expecting an injury to George Kittle or Jimmy G, but it is what it is. And then those other second tier of tight ends drastically jump up, where now you're looking at having a TJ Hawkinson ranked in the same range of a DJ Moore, and those long shot tight ends, just say guys like Jace Sternberger, guys like Dawson Knox, actually become viable plays way earlier in the draft than just at the very end. So yeah, I mean, it basically comes down to those elite assets then becoming plays that you want in your flex spots as well, because you're never going to be putting TJ Hawkinson in your flex spot in a non-tight end premium format. But as soon as you throw on 1.75 points per reception for the tight end spot, I mean, TJ Hawkinson becomes a fantastic flex play. Okay. Alejandro, I'm really hoping that that helped answer your question. You know that I am always more than willing to answer it if you just shoot me that DM if you need any other clarification on Patreon. But anyway, let's gear up for who we are going to be looking at with the 6th pick. And here, honestly, we could be going tight end. After talking all that mess about tight end, I mean, Mark Andrews is still available. I know in some drafts, we now have TJ Hawkinson going before Mark Andrews. While I love TJ Hawkinson, while I significantly invested into him in multiple leagues an offseason ago, I did the same with Mark Andrews. I mean, I'm a massive Mark Andrews stan. I mean, I need to just kind of bite the bullet where it happens and just face the fact that it looks like we are just building an Oklahoma Sooners football team here. I mean, we have Kyler Murray. We have Joe Mixon. If y'all don't know, I am a senior student at the University of Texas. So obviously, I'm not a fan of OU. But it looks like this is going to be the Cincinnati and Oklahoma Sooners team. So we are going to be taking Mark Andrews unless I see any other wide receiver value that's popping off the board. Here we have Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy is being drastically overvalued in these mock drafts just based on the fact of Courtland Sutton being 100% healthy to go in 2021. You have Adam Thielen, Cooper Kupp, Henry Ruggs, DJ Chark. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to be having Mark Andrews ahead of all those other players. And at running back, honestly, not even intrigued in any of the options there. So I hate the Sooners, but it looks like we are drafting an Oklahoma Sooners team here. If y'all don't know, I mean, kind of funny story. Let me do a quick side note with Joe Mixon. If y'all weren't really following Dynasty Fantasy Football back in 2017, but obviously Mixon was in that 2017 class, went in the second round because of off-the-field issues at Oklahoma. But we know with Mixon, he actually split a backfield with Samaje Perine. And it was really funny because I did not even know that Samaje Perine was playing with the Cincinnati Bengals in 2020 until we had the Mixon injury, until Giovanni Bernard was unproductive and they decided to get Samaje Perine some work in there. So yeah, just a kind of a funny thing. JN coming in, hitting us with the trader, guys. If y'all don't know, if there's anybody that's a bigger fanboy of UT, a bigger homer of UT, it's definitely JN in the chat. Nash is cashed in the mock draft. I mean, I will say that it's not even close if you were looking at who's the bigger UT homer, but it's going to be him. But yeah, I mean, man, got to take the value where it falls. Looks like we may be getting Hollywood Brown later in this draft as it's been going. But anyway, let me see if there are any selections that stand out to us as either reaches or great value. I love the value of DJ Moore by Berto at the 507. Here, I mean, this, like I said earlier, I mean, DJ Moore's a player I would rather have over T. Higgins, but we're taking Higgins there for the stack. I mean, I've already said it, Victor, I really don't like the pick at the 501 of A.J. Dillon. Let me scroll through real quick. Eckler at the 406 seems decent with how that team decided to construct themselves as a win now team. Let me go through. Yeah, I think Noah, honestly, has been the guy killing this mock draft until his last pick of Chris Carson at the 608. I mean, Noah looks like he built a monster through 5 rounds with 2 elite bell cow rookie running backs, followed by 2 top-end wide receivers in Devontae Adams and Michael Thomas, then getting a guaranteed quarterback for this upcoming season in Kirk Cousins. I hate the selection of Chris Carson at the 608 when Chris Carson has no contract next season. Let me slide this over real quick, guys, but let me know who your favorite team so far is in this mock draft. Let me know what your favorite and least favorite selection is. I mean, I think if Noah would have decided to go somewhere else outside of Chris Carson at the 608, his team would be hands down my favorite. If he would have decided to possibly go with a tight end in TJ Hawkinson instead, I would have really liked that route. If he would have decided to go with a wide receiver instead and possibly a DJ Chark with Trevor Lawrence coming in, that's also something that I would have loved. I think that's one small mistake, otherwise to a fantastic draft. But let me see real quick. Let's see what Noah is saying real quick in the general chat. He's saying, Mason, do you know if Prize Picks is legit or a scam? Real quick, guys, I'll say, I mean, I've had a lot of people ask me about Prize Picks. They've been trying to get me as an affiliate. All I'm going to say is I'm not going to speak specifically on Prize Picks because I've not done enough research into it. These guys on YouTube or on their own podcast, when they are trying to shove promo codes down your throat, this is the reason I have rarely ever decided to give y'all a promo code. I'm sure 99% of y'all in the chat have never heard me give a live ad read or anything of the sort. I just want to organically grow. I'm assuming that y'all will be more than willing to support our show through Patreon so I don't have to give y'all those ad reads. But the reason people are giving you their promo codes, I know they may try to sell it as it's such a good deal to you. No, they are just trying to make money. It's an ad. So if you hear your favorite podcaster going out here, I'm not going to speak specifically on Prize Picks because I've not done enough research into it. Maybe a week from now, I am telling you to sign up with promo code FLOCK, blah, 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 blah. They are trying to make money. That is what it comes down to. This is why I have not done it so far. If there's a company that approaches me that I really enjoy playing on, I will be more than willing to do that. But generally, please be wary of guys just giving you their promo code saying, you know what, go do this, go do this. I'm making so much money on it, because most of the time they're not even playing on it. I mean, I can almost guarantee you whatever your favorite podcast or YouTuber is that's playing on Monkey Knife Fight, playing on Prize Picks, wherever the hell they're trying to get y'all to go. Trust me, I'm getting the same emails. I get the same DMs of them wanting to put their ads on our channel. They're not doing it because they're making a ton of money off Monkey Knife Fight or of Prize Picks. They're doing it because how they're making money is getting you to sign up. So please just be a little bit, just recognize that before you get into anything. I'm not speaking specifically on any one company or on any one YouTuber or anything. I just want to make sure that everybody understands what's really going on there. But anyway, let me go through and let's try to figure out what we're going to be doing at the 706. I like the value that we're seeing with a Cooper Kupp still available. I mean, if we go over to running back, I really don't want any of these other running backs. So yeah, I think we just take Cooper Kupp, and not a sexy pick, but it'll get the job done at 706. Okay, so we have Nathan coming in and says Jalen Reagor or Michael Pittman. That is very intriguing just because you're looking at Philadelphia and you're going, okay, what do they decide to do in the draft this year? I mean, if they decide to go with the Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase very early on, I mean, that pretty much kills Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor at that point is maybe a deep threat decoy. So maybe a replacement for a Sean Jackson type. So I'll say probably going to go with Michael Pittman just for the safety behind it. Also because I really like Jalen Hurts. Y'all know there was pretty much nobody higher on Jalen Hurts last offseason than I was. But the reason I love Jalen Hurts is because of his rushing ability in fantasy football, not because he's going to just provide so much value for all his pass catchers. So, yeah, I mean, I like the quarterback in Jalen Hurts for fantasy. I don't like his pass catchers, if that makes sense, if you follow my train of thought there. Real quick, let me slide this over real quick. But anyway, let's go through. Since we decided to take Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson, Mike Gesicki, Dallas Goedert all went off the board. I mean, with Deontay Johnson, let me know what y'all think, because I know a lot of people have been saying that he is a great value here at the end of the 7th, where he's been going in the majority of these mock drafts. But I mean, I look at that situation, according to Juju Smith-Schuster, he's all in for coming back to Pittsburgh this upcoming year. They have no answer at quarterback. So if Juju actually comes back and we're looking at a wide receiver room with Juju, Deontay, and Chase Claypool, and they obviously are not going to have Ben Roethlisberger, or if Ben Roethlisberger does decide to come back, he's going to be one of the worst quarterbacks in the entire NFL. I mean, what do y'all think of Deontay Johnson? Because I would love to hear that. Okay, so let's go through. Joshua is asking, is A.J. Brown in the 2nd round rookie pick for Joe Mixon and Cooper Kupp a good trade? So Joshua, I'll say real quick, I mean, it's really going to come down to your league settings. It's going to come down to how many flex spots you have, how many wide receivers you need to start, and also what your team construction is, because it does sound like it's in the fair range of value. But also, guys, if y'all have not already, go down there, drop a like on the stream, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to get in one of our mock drafts, we've been mock drafting every single night. Make sure you're not only subscribed, but have that notification bell on next to it. That way you get notified when we are live. That way y'all can come in this mock draft and hang out with me. But we already have 66 likes with about 90 people watching. So that is ridiculous. And I thank y'all for fantastic support. But anyway, Rashad Penny going off the board by Seth at the 801. Now, coming from someone who loves Rashad Penny, if I could get that kind of value for him in any of my Dynasty leagues, guys, if y'all playing a Flock Patreon Dynasty league with me right now and you're wanting to make a trade, go over to one of the rosters where I have Rashad Penny and make me a trade offer with him at this kind of value. I mean, if you're going to offer me Jalen Reagor, you're going to offer me Odell Beckham Jr., Robert Woods, Denzel Mims, Cortland Sutton, I'm going to be taking any of those deals. I would honestly even take some of these other running backs. I would take a Kenyon Drake. I would take a tight end like, actually, we're not going to go to the tight ends right now. We're not going to bother about that. Anyway, we're going to be up in about 4 picks. I know definitely what position I'm going with. I'm sure that y'all know the same thing as well. Okay, so Alejandro is saying, can you check the DM on Discord? Just want to make sure I am reading the second scoring correctly. First league on Sleeper. Yes, sir. I'll say I don't even play Dynasty Fantasy Football on Sleeper. I know a lot of people that are just now getting into Dynasty Fantasy Football play on Sleeper. My preferred platform is actually myfantasyleague.com. So yeah, I have very little experience on Sleeper, my man, but trying to pull this up without it taking over the screen right now. Okay, so anyway, it looks like receptions. Yeah, so you were reading that correctly. That's 1.75 PPR for the tight end. Okay, perfect. But guys, let me know. Also, I'm sure that the majority of y'all play on Sleeper just because it's very user-friendly. The reason I do the mock drafts on here is just because I know so many people already have the app, combined with the fact that the mock draft boards look significantly better than any other platform. But if talking about playing real Dynasty leagues, I don't play a single league on Sleeper. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, but anyway, before our pick, we have Robert Woods, Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson, all going off the board. Right now, okay, Cortland Sutton goes right before us. Cortland Sutton was going to be my selection at the 807. Now we are going to have to make a pivot, and the best wide receivers available right now are going to be Jalen Reagor, Odell Beckham Jr., Denzel Mims, Tyler Boyd, Deebo Samuel, Jarvis Landry, Corey Davis. We go over to running back, Kenyon Drake, Zach Moss, Melvin Gordon. Not taking a running back here. I mean, quarterback... If I needed a quarterback, I mean, Matt Ryan is an absurd value. Like, if Noah decides to go with Matt Ryan at the 808, that is going to be ridiculous for him getting a second quarterback there. Anyway, I think what we have to do here is I think we have to go at wide receiver. And based on the fact that we constructed this team a little bit older and a little bit more win now with Joe Mixon, a running back that's already on his second contract, and DeAndre Hopkins and Cooper Kupp, I think we take Odell Beckham Jr. here at the 807 over Jalen Reagor. Definitely one of the most polarizing players in Dynasty Fantasy Football right now. Let me know what y'all think of Odell Beckham Jr. as I'm very intrigued to hear your opinions on him. I'll be checking the general chat for a second. Okay, but anyway, Victor coming out says, would you give your first overall rookie pick this year for Kyler Murray? So I'm assuming that this is going to be a super flex league, and we can all 100% agree that the 101 in Superflex leagues this year is going to be Trevor Lawrence in your rookie draft. So this question comes down to, would you rather have Kyler Murray or Trevor Lawrence in Dynasty Fantasy Football? And I know we're going to be answering this question a lot. And I'll say right now, I believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to be the better NFL quarterback. I believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to be the guy that leads his team to have a better shot at the Super Bowl than Kyler Murray. But that is not what wins fantasy games. What wins fantasy games at the quarterback position is rushing production, which Kyler Murray has already proven to have. So we are actually going to be going with Kyler Murray over Trevor Lawrence in Dynasty Fantasy Football. Both of them are extremely young, so we don't even have to discuss that factor into it. But also, let me know what y'all think of that. Let me know if you would rather have Trevor Lawrence or Kyler Murray in a Dynasty Fantasy Football League. I mean, I'm just looking at the profile of a Kyler Murray and what he's been able to do at the NFL level so far. And for me, the answer is easy, but I know the hype is going to be so strong on Trevor Lawrence as it already is, and he is yet to see a snap in the NFL. And I'll say I think he is going to be a better NFL quarterback than Kyler, but I think Kyler's going to be the better fantasy asset. Okay. But anyway, just showing y'all the draft board real quick. Now let's slide back down here and let's see what we are going to be looking at coming around at the 906. Here is where it gets a little bit intriguing, and I think you can pivot over and possibly start taking running backs again if you have a team need, which we do, as Joe Mixon is our only running back on this roster. We already have 4 wide receivers in DeAndre Hopkins, T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, and Odell Beckham Jr. We have our 2 quarterbacks in Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow, and we have our tight end in Mark Andrews. Okay, so let's go through. Alejandro says, dude, Mason is legit the most helpful fantasy football guy. Smash that like button. Yes, sir, guys. Thank you so much, Alejandro, for those kind words. I'm going to continue to try to help as much as I can. That's why I know doing these mock drafts helps a ton of people. And honestly, it's a major time commitment, but I have a ton of fun doing them. Okay, so let's go through. And Austin, okay, it looks like y'all are saying that y'all would prefer having Kyler Murray as well over Trevor Lawrence. I think that's the right selection, but I just know that if you play in Dynasty Fantasy Football long enough, the hype is going to be crazy with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is going to be so high in these Dynasty startup drafts once we get there. I'm excited to see when Sleeper decides to load them up. But regardless, we are going to wait on that. Maybe what I can do is I wonder if I can make custom players with the rookies and see where they go in this mock draft. That would be so much fun. But yeah, let me see if I can do that for tomorrow night. Seriously, guys, make sure y'all are subscribed to the channel if y'all want to see that. I'm going to be trying my best to create those custom players so we can include them into these startup drafts. I think that would be fantastic. Okay, so let's go. And Seth is asking us to rank the teams as of now with the draft. Man, I'm so sorry. That would take me a very, very long time to actually sit through. I can go through and tell you what teams I like to start, what teams I think have an interesting build so far. Okay, so Victor, I loved this start until he decided to take A.J. Dillon. I mean, instead of taking A.J. Dillon with his fifth round selection, if he would have gone with either DJ Moore or Terry McLaurin instead, I think that would have been something we could have gotten so excited about. But A.J. Dillon in the 5th kind of ruins it for me. Nash has a very intriguing team as well with CMC, Zeke, James Robinson with his first 3 picks, then going with the wide receivers. Okay, so let me go through and... Okay, so in Beerman may have my favorite team here. Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Jalen Hurts in the 3rd. I probably would have preferred Ryan Tannehill, but to each their own. They're in the same tier. Then following it up with CeeDee Lamb, Darren Waller, DJ Chark, Michael Pittman, Corey Davis, Jalen Reagor. Love that start. Love the value of Jalen Reagor in the 9th round. Now, let's go through. Dietz may have the best start here. I mean, Dietz looks like he was able to get value in every round. I don't see any picks that stand out as bad selections in my opinion. I mean, Ronald Jones, for what you're getting in the round, I think does make sense. Noah, love it up until the Chris Carson pick in the 6th. My team, obviously the best team every time. Not going to have to spend too much time on that. Obviously joking there, guys. Don't go crazy about that. So Berto, let's go through. And I don't like the Kareem Hunt pick in the 6th. I mean, I would have preferred to see a DJ Chark there instead. Other than that, love the team. The BK28. Really like, I really like that build. I really, really like that build. Let's see where he can go with this 2nd quarterback. I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of more processing this rather than talking through it. Most of these teams look solid. I'll say real quick, the only picks that stand out, in my opinion, to be very bad picks so far, A.J. Dillon at the 501, I really don't like. Chris Carson at the 608. Kareem Hunt at the 606. I hate Tom Brady at the 808 as well. I mean, I just can't get behind that. We are on the clock right now, so I am going to have to pivot over and make our next selection. At the 906, we are probably going to be looking at wide receiver here. Unless... Yeah, no. It's going to have to be wide receiver. I mean, I'd love to go Deebo Samuel, but the injuries are a real concern in Deebo Samuel's profile. Actually, it doesn't matter, though, because when we were taking him as our 5th wide receiver, we're just kind of shooting for upside right now. We're going to go Deebo Samuel going into his 3rd season. When he has been healthy, he has been productive. I mean, he was just 2 years removed from being possibly the best playmaker in that Super Bowl on the San Francisco 49ers, obviously. Okay. So let me go through, and yeah, that's it. I don't see any other questions. Actually, Josh has a question in the chat. It says, what side, Superflex and tight end premium? Russell Wilson, Michael Thomas, the 210, Jared Cook, David Njoku for Lamar Jackson, Keenan Allen, and Noah Fant. Okay, so really easily, we can take Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson out of this. Let's take Russell Wilson and the 210 for Lamar Jackson out of it, just because I view that personally with how much I love Russell Wilson as kind of a wash. And then we're looking at this as Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, and David Njoku for Keenan Allen and Noah Fant. And with the slight difference in wide receiver scoring and how minuscule that actually is, I think I would actually just prefer having Noah Fant there over Jared Cook and David Njoku. So I would prefer having the package of the 3 guys instead. But Michael Gallup is taken at the 907 right after we take Deebo Samuel. Really like that pick of Michael Gallup. Really, the only issue right now is both Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are locked into this Cowboys team for 2021, as well as Michael Gallup. But if you're saying that maybe Gallup could move to a separate situation this upcoming year in 2022, that would be very intriguing. Okay, but Keyshawn Vaughn going off the board at the 908. Can't fault him doing that, even though I hated Keyshawn Vaughn in rookie drafts an offseason ago. I mean, at this point, if you look at the profile, if you look at the situation in Tampa Bay, I mean, he could provide some value for you there at the 908. But at some point, we are going to have to pivot over, and we are going to have to take a running back. Because right now, our team is at the 106. We have Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Hopkins, T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr., Deebo Samuel, and then Mark Andrews at tight end. So we have our 5 wide receivers. We have our 2 quarterbacks. We have our tight end. So we are going to have to try to piece together our running back 2 production right now. Devin Singletary goes off the board at the 909. Devin Singletary, another running back that I really did not like in offseason ago. But at this point, I think we have to look at him and we have to just naturally assume that he is definitely going to have a role on that Buffalo Bills team for the next season. And he's a lot safer than some of these other running backs just because he is tied to that rookie contract. Darnell Mooney going off the board at the 910, a wide receiver getting a ton of hype as of late. I have question marks centering around his overall upside just because we know Darnell Mooney, he profiles to be a little bit more of the field stretching wide receiver rather than the guy that can just soak up targets. Even though I know some people are excited because Allen Robinson is going to be a free agent this upcoming year. But now we have Raheem Mostert going off the 911. Really do not like that selection. I mean, I would have probably rather gone with a Melvin Gordon to James Conner, Leonard Fournette. I mean, the running backs here are disgusting, but still, I think you could have found something else other than Raheem. I think maybe we are going to be forced to go with another wide receiver with this upcoming pick. As right now, you look at the running back room, and you have Melvin Gordon, James Conner, Leonard Fournette, David Johnson, Todd Gurley, Chase Edmonds, Damian Harris, Le'Veon Bell. You go over to wide receiver, you have Jarvis Landry, Brandon Cooks, Devontae Parker, Christian Kirk, Brian Edwards, KJ Hamler, Jamison Crowder, McCole Hardman. So yeah, it sucks, but I think our hand may be forced to go with a wide receiver in round 10 if we have a guy that we like fall to us. But Seth is on the clock right now. Hopefully he does not auto pick. I don't think we've had a single auto selection this entire draft until now when he gets auto picked Melvin Gordon. Not going to change that pick because I think that is the correct area for Melvin Gordon going right behind Raheem Mostert. I don't see that messing up the draft board in the slightest. Hopefully Seth is able to come through and get his selection this time around. If not, let me go through and let's look at his team. Okay, it looks like he most likely needs wide receiver on this team as he has Kittle. He only has 3 wide receivers. He has 3 running backs right now. And personally, I believe that wide receiver is the best value available. So while I was hoping that he was falling to me at the 1007, I think that if it looks like Seth is about to time out on this pick, we are just going to be giving him Jarvis Landry. So let's wait on this and let's see where he decides. I mean, if he's able to come in and manually pick his guy. If not, we are going to have to pick for him. And we are going to have to go Jarvis Landry just because I want this draft to go as smoothly as possible. And yeah, I believe Jarvis Landry is the guy that should go in this range. So we are going to manually put Jarvis Landry in there for him. But anyway, oh my gosh, guys, we have 73 likes in the live stream right now and 70 people watching. Y'all are insane. Thank you. That is all I have to say. Okay, so Josh is saying, thanks for the answer, bro. I got the Lamar side, so it makes me feel better. Okay, good, man. Super happy to hear that. Honestly, as a massive fan of Russell Wilson, I hate trading him away, but I think you got some good value there. Okay, so Brandon Cooks going off the board at the 10:02. Brandon Cooks, a wide receiver that I loved back in 2014, 2015. When Michael Thomas was selected to the New Orleans Saints, Michael Thomas had a fantastic rookie season. This is before Brandon Cooks was moved to the New England Patriots for a first-round pick. I spent way too much time on Twitter arguing with people, telling them that Brandon Cooks was the wide receiver 1 in New Orleans over Michael Thomas, and that people had no idea what they were talking about when they were saying Michael Thomas was the man. I was going, y'all don't know what you are saying. Michael Thomas is a bum. Brandon Cooks is a god. Brandon Cooks has elite age-adjusted production. We can't say the same thing about Michael Thomas. And yeah, I mean, I was completely wrong, as I always am, so got to take that massive L. I mean, just high school Mason was out there arguing all day. Brandon Cooks versus Michael Thomas. But, okay, we are up in 4 picks. All our guys are off the board in Jarvis Landry, Brandon Cooks, and Devontae Parker. I was hoping that we were going to get one of them. Looks like we may have to go running back. I mean, this is a dead zone. I really hate taking the guys here. But you got to do what you got to do. And honestly, this next one is probably going to be gross. Okay, James Conner gets auto-selected. Okay, so Kellis Talks coming in. And Kellis, super happy to see you out here, my man. And your question here is, where does Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, Justin Fields go in Dynasty startup drafts? I am new to Dynasty. Okay, real quick, man, I'll say with the 2 running backs, I think they are going to jump up. At least I personally think most people are going to have Najee Harris over Travis Etienne by the time we get to Dynasty drafting for those rookies. But anyway, let me make our selection real quick. We have Damian Harris, Christian Kirk, James Conner all going off the board. Kirk was the guy that I wanted with this 10th round pick. I think we may have to go to running back right now just because our team need. I really hate it. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet. Sometimes you just have to take the L, take the worst player to fit your roster in these Dynasty mock drafts. Just because we already have 5 wide receivers. I mean, how long can we punt this down the road? I guess maybe we could take our second tight end, but nobody's really popping off the board here for me. I really want to go with wide receiver. I really want to give everyone the middle finger. I think what we are going to do here is we are going to go with wide receiver. I'm trying to convince myself into it. Actually, you know what? What we are going to do is we're going to take Chase Edmonds. We're just going to hope that Kenyon Drake is out of Arizona. We are going to get Chase Edmonds in the stack in with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and now we have Edmonds. So if, for whatever reason, Edmonds is the starting running back in Arizona this upcoming year, I mean, good luck stopping this team. Good luck stopping a team that has every Cincinnati Bengals skill positional player on it, as well as Arizona Cardinals. If those 2 teams live up to their expectations, I mean, RIP everybody else in this mock draft. That is all I am going to say. Okay, so in Austin saying, so where do you rank Devontae Smith if he goes to the Eagles or the Dolphins? Okay, I'll say real quick, if he goes to the Philadelphia Eagles, that would be a horrendous landing spot. I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to get excited about that. I can see it happening right now. Like I said earlier, I mean, Jalen Hurts is a quarterback that I love. Jalen Hurts was someone that I took in a ton of Dynasty rookie drafts an offseason ago. I have him everywhere, but you do not want his pass catchers. The reason you want him in fantasy is you want him to be able to provide you that rushing production. He's not going to provide elite receiving numbers for any one wide receiver. So you don't want Devontae. You do not want him in Philadelphia. If he goes to Miami, it's going to be a little bit interesting. I mean, right now, Tua really is not looking like a quality NFL starter. I know a lot of people wanted to view him as a can't-miss quarterback prospect, but this is the problem with a lot of people in Dynasty Fantasy Football thinking that they know more than NFL talent evaluators. I have videos in offseason ago. I just completely forgot about this. I have videos. I should probably put these out in tweets. I'm not going to. But I have videos saying that we wanted Justin Herbert over Tua in our Dynasty rookie drafts, and y'all don't know how much hate I got for saying that. Y'all have no idea how much people hated me for saying Justin Herbert should be over Tua because I was worried about Tua's injury. I was worried with the fact that Tua had elite weapons at Alabama in college. But yeah, maybe we'll pull those from the archives just so we can rub it in everyone's faces because everybody loves to come out here and give the young kids some hate. But anyway, I mean, I think Tua is looking like an early flameout just because, I mean, he had those elite options at Alabama. He never had to face adversity in every single time we watched him and Ryan Fitzpatrick together. Fitzpatrick looked like the better quarterback. The Miami Dolphins players wanted Fitzpatrick in there at QB. Okay, so Dylan saying, if Deshaun Watson stays in Houston, where do you think he should be drafted? Okay, I'm assuming you're asking Deshaun Watson here. So if Watson's in Houston, I mean, he's been consistently going at the end of the first round of these Dynasty startup drafts. But honestly, regardless of where Watson is, just because there is that uncertainty around him and his team situation, I would easily prefer having Justin Herbert and Russell Wilson over Deshaun Watson at this point. So yeah, I mean, regardless, I think Deshaun Watson should be sliding back into this 203, 204 range in Dynasty Superflex startups. And also, I want to point out the fact Carson Wentz going at the 10-10. Carson Wentz, a player that I did not like a year ago. I don't know how many times I have to say this. We're going to say this every single live stream. I love Jalen Hurts. I was avoiding Carson Wentz everywhere. But at this point, when Jalen Hurts is going at the beginning of the third and Carson Wentz is going at the end of the 10th round, I mean, that is what we call an overcorrection. What you need to do there is you need to slice that gap down a little bit. I mean, I think Carson Wentz should be going about a round earlier than he is. I think he should be going around this Keyshawn Vaughn range, possibly a little bit higher, more so in the middle of the ninth. We could have taken him at the 906. I think that we should be seeing Jalen Hurts slide back a little bit to the end of the third. I mean, I think that is an overcorrection. I think people realize, holy crap, we got it so wrong an offseason ago. I don't want to make that same mistake again. So they should not be correcting that much. But anyway, Jordan Love going off the board at the beginning of the 11th. That's the latest that I think we've seen Jordan Love go off the board in any one of these mock drafts. Really like to see that correction to his draft position. Leonard Fournette going off at the 11:03. Maybe I was going to convince myself into going with Fournette with our 11th round pick. But anyway, if we are about to be back up on the board, thank God we passed on the wide receiver position earlier because we were talking about possibly taking a wide receiver, and since then, only Gabriel Davis has gone off the board, so that would have proved to be a very bad selection. Happy that we decided to take Chase Edmonds where we did. But yeah, let's see. Okay, so 30 seconds left on the clock here. We are 2 picks away. I have a couple guys in mind. Cole Kmet going off the board here at the 11:04. Really want to point out that Irv Smith went ahead of Cole Kmet in this draft, something I 100% agree with. I think Irv Smith, if you look at his first 2 years in Minnesota, has been on a track to be a difference maker at the tight end position this upcoming season. I love the pick of Irv Smith. I believe he is still only 23 years old. Let's pull this up real quick. 22 years old. Okay, I stand corrected. Irv Smith going into year 3 well, he will be 23 years old. I mean, he has a ton of room to develop. And here we are going to be quote unquote reaching on a player, taking him ahead of ADP. But I think he has all the upside in the world with what his talent profile is and where he is in his situation. And that is going to be Mecole Hardman. Okay, with Mecole Hardman, I've said this so many times before. The Kansas City Chiefs decided to trade up for him in the 2019 NFL Draft. They decided to go with him over DK Metcalf, which obviously does not mean he's a better player than DK Metcalf. I'm not saying that. But what they saw with Mecole Hardman is that he was an elite-level athlete, an elite-level high school recruit going into Georgia. He never really got the chance to develop his wide receiver talent based on the scheme they had. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to take the wide receiver that was a miniature Tyreek Hill in what he was able to do on the football field, and he was a good returner, put him into their system, and possibly develop him to replace either Tyreek or Sammy Watkins down the line. Obviously, that depends on contracts. That depends on so many different factors. If y'all don't remember, Tyreek Hill at the time of that Mecole Hardman selection by the Kansas City Chiefs looked like he may never play in the NFL ever again for his off-the-field situation. But anyway, Mecole Hardman at the 11:06, I think, does have the upside to make that pick worth it. Okay, so I see somebody asking, what are the league settings here? Very simple. The league settings, 12-team Superflex League. Start 1 quarterback mandatory, 2 running backs mandatory, 2 wide receivers, 3 flex spots, a tight end, as well as 1 super flex. Obviously, we don't have the benches filled all the way out just because I don't want to be sitting here drafting for 30 rounds and completely destroying my voice. But anyway, these quarterbacks here at the end of the 11th round proved to be a fantastic value. And honestly, I'll say this, maybe the next draft, I don't want to give this little tidbit away because I don't want people using it against me, but I think maybe with this upcoming draft, I should look at the possibility of avoiding quarterback early and taking some of these quarterbacks at the very end, maybe taking 3 or 4 of the Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo types, and just going, you know what, I'm going to piece together the quarterback position. I'm going to have elite running back production, because if instead of taking Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow here, we were able to take, just say, DeAndre Swift, let's just say Alvin Kamara and Cam Akers. I mean, we would have started with Kamara, Akers, Mixon, Hopkins, and then we would have gone with DJ Moore over Higgins here if we did not have Joe Burrow. We would have started with an onslaught of elite skill positional players and then possibly pieced it together with quarterback production later on. But that can be something that we test out later on. So yeah, let me know what y'all think of possibly waiting on quarterback this year. I've not done it so far, but I think maybe it's a strategy that we should explore a little bit and see what the merits of it are. Okay, so Austin is saying, who would you pick up, Miles Sanders or Austin Eckler? We would go with the running back that is on his rookie contract, the guy that I feel more confident in being the 3-down running back for longer, and that's going to be Miles Sanders. Okay, so it looks like here at the 12th round, honestly, we are going to be in a weird spot. I'll just say that flat out. I mean, I think we may have to end up going a route that I'm not excited about. I mean, I hated this player in rookie drafts an offseason ago. I don't think we drafted him in a single league. But nope, he goes off the board right before us. Bryan Edwards at the 1206. Like I was just saying, I mean, I hated him in 2019. But at this point, I mean, I think he is a solid value at the 1206. I think here, I want to take Mike Williams, but the problem is we have so many wide receivers. If I'm taking another wide receiver, it has to be a Bryan Edwards. It has to be a young player with some upside. So I think what we have to do is we have to pivot over to running back or tight end. I mean, or quarterback possibly. I mean, I think what we do here is we take our third quarterback. I think we go with a Sam Darnold. I know a lot of people have been looking at Sam Darnold and going, oh, if it wasn't for Adam Gase, Sam Darnold would have been a great NFL quarterback. And I'm saying, yes, that is completely fair to say. I mean, if you want to draw up the parallel worlds where Adam Gase was not in New York, Sam Darnold instead maybe went to a different team and he was able to be very productive in a better situation, I think that could have happened. But the majority of the time, the way this situation plays out is Sam Darnold turns into Josh Rosen. Sam Darnold does not get a second opportunity, but at the 1207, he is worth the shot. Okay, let me slide this over real quick. And I see that JN is saying in the chat that he actually went through and did this late round quarterback strategy like we were discussing. Let me see this, my man. Okay, so let's see what you were able to do here. You went CMC, Zeke. I'll say real quick, I definitely prefer Miles Sanders over Ezekiel Elliott, but I understand it. James Robinson, Allen Robinson, Terry McLaurin, Jerry Jeudy, Daniel Jones, Evan Ingram. So you got the stack there. Denzel Mims, Drew Lock. Man, I really like the start. I really like the look of going with two later on quarterbacks, especially if you would have decided to possibly go with another quarterback in the 11th. Maybe instead of an Irv Smith, you decided to go with a Jimmy Garoppolo or a Derek Carr to get your third guy. And then in the 12th round, you could have gone with Austin Hooper instead. Or just completely avoid the tight end as you already have Evan Ingram. I mean, I really like your start. I think you kind of... Irv Smith is a player. I love the value you got on him. But based on the builds here, I really don't like it. And man, you were taking Devin as early as the 12-11. You cannot be doing that, my man. What are you doing? Are you thinking I'm sniping you in the 13th? Actually, yeah, come on. Nobody's going to... You think Victor is out here going to take Devin at either the 12-12 or the 13-01? At least wait till the 13th round to get him, my man. But anyway, let's see where Victor decides to go. He takes Mike Williams, the wide receiver we were looking at. Honestly, fits his team nicely, having him as his wide receiver 5. So see where he decides to go on the way back around. And let's start thinking about our own pick because we have 3 selections left. We already have, I believe, 5 wide receivers, actually 6 wide receivers. We have our tight end. We have 3 quarterbacks. We have only 2 running backs. So it probably looks like our only selections from here on out can be running back and tight end. I have one running back that sticks out far out ahead of the rest. I mean, it's ridiculous that he's still available. I mean, if this was a real Dynasty Fantasy Football League, if Sleeper did not have a messed up ADP, I promise you he would be gone way before this. And yep, Victor snipes him on us. Victor, are you in this general chat? Come on, man. I wanted to get Darrell Henderson with the 1301. I'm honestly very disappointed that I decided to go with Sam Darnold over Darrell Henderson. That is a massive mistake on my part. Oh my gosh, Victor. Nice pick. I wanted Darrell Henderson, a running back still on his rookie contract. Yeah, nice pick. That's all I have to say about that, my man. Alexander Madison going off. Another great pick. I probably would have taken Madison at the 13th. 1306 if he would have fallen to us. But here, we may have to take a running back that I just clown on all the time. But it's the 13th round. I need a running back 3. And, I mean, these guys are waiver guys at this point. Antonio Brown going off at 1304. So that tells you where we are in this draft. So, yeah, let's load him up if he makes it to us. Anthony McFarland going off at the 1305. Todd Gurley going in the 1306. Guys, talk about a fall. And this is why I'm telling us. Okay, let's go to the top of the draft right now. Okay, let's look at the running backs up here that are off their rookie contracts. And, in my opinion, are not as safe as most people want to assume. Okay, so let's start it off with Alvin Kamara. I mean, we have no Drew Brees there going forward. What are we going to be expecting in that situation? Then we have Dalvin Cook at the 112. I mean, Dalvin Cook right now, let's see how old he is. I believe he's 25. Yep, Dalvin Cook is 25. Derrick Henry, I believe, is 26. No, Derrick Henry, 27. I think Derrick Henry is the best guy to look at to be the next Todd Gurley. I mean, Todd Gurley right now is younger than Derrick Henry. I probably need to send out a tweet. Let's send out a tweet together real quick, just reminding everyone Todd Gurley is younger than Derrick Henry, because that is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so let's go over to our Twitter here. Okay. If y'all are on the live stream, go over there, reply to that tweet, say, hey, coming from the live stream, what we got to do every time we send out one of those tweets is go back over, hit us with the retweet and the like from the main account. Perfect, perfect, perfect. But yeah, let's remind everyone on that. Anyway, we've got 2 picks left in this mock draft. Okay, so let's see where we are deciding to go. Obviously, we're going to be looking at running back and tight end. And honestly, this is probably why I don't like my Mark Andrews pick at the 607. Because you look at the tight ends that are still available here. I mean, you have Zach Ertz, you have Hayden Hurst, you have Austin Hooper, you have Eric Ebron, you have Tyler Higbee. And there are good tight ends still on the board. So yeah, I mean, maybe that is just a lesson learned. Mason, do not be taking those guys way too early, like a Mark Andrews in the 6th, when the other positional fall-offs are so much sharper. But anyway, Joshua Kelly, Jamal Williams, DJ Dallas, Le'Veon Bell, all going off the board after Todd Gurley. Okay, so Eric Ebron going off at the 1404. I like the selection of Eric Ebron there. Eric Ebron's still a lot younger than most people want to believe he is. I mean, Eric Ebron, ridiculous how young he is as well. And guys, before I forget, I know I've been forgetting to do this. Let me get y'all a link real quick. We're going to take Philip Lindsay here in the 14th round for our running back 4. Let me get y'all a link to join our group chat if y'all are not already in it. I'm sure that 99.999% of people in this live stream are already in our fantasy football group chat. But let me send y'all the link anyway in case you would like to join. Here, this is a Dynasty fantasy football group chat. Also, as a quick side of it, that's fantasy basketball as well. But it's completely free. You don't need an email. You don't need a credit card. Literally, all you do is go down there and choose your nickname and you're in the chat. I mean, it's that simple. Let me send this out. Okay, Brandon coming in. Oh my gosh, Brandon coming in with our next donation. Says, won my league in the car, bro. Any Dynasty openings? Hell yes, my man. Last we talked, I believe it looked like you were... guys, if y'all don't know, Brandon was hanging out with us a ton in the live streams on the main channel throughout the course of the regular fantasy football season. And he was playing for a car. I mean, if he won his league, he got a car. And here, that is absolutely fantastic. Last we talked, I think that you were actually an underdog to go out there and win the car. If I am remembering correctly, I thought that it looked like you were going to lose that championship round. But yeah, man, I am super happy that you were able to pull it out. Shoot me a message in the general chat right now if I am remembering that correct, if you were an underdog at some point in that matchup. But awesome, awesome, awesome. And I'll say, Brandon, real quick, yes, we are going to have Dynasty openings next week. Man, I'm sure you're already on Patreon. Just please shoot me a message, a DM on Patreon saying, hey, man, this is Brandon. That way I can add you to the list of guys that are wanting in a league. Okay, Austin saying he joined the fantasy football group chat. Perfect. I'd imagine that most people were already in that fantasy football group chat, but just wanted to make sure that everybody had a shot that was not already. Okay, so yeah, we are going to be taking either Hayden Hurst, Zach Ertz, or Tyler Higbee with our last pick here. But anyway, Brandon, let me know in the general chat right now. Let me know if you were an underdog, if I'm remembering that correctly. That is fantastic. I am super happy to hear that, my man. Okay, I just checked, and Paris Campbell went off the board at the 1307. Honestly, I should feel just straight up embarrassed for letting Paris Campbell go that far off. I mean, fantastic selection of Paris Campbell at 1307. I think Berto honestly killed this draft. I mean, I think Berto, if we are just looking round by round, probably had the value fall to him. Yeah, I mean, Berto had my favorite draft here. Outside of taking Kareem Hunt at the 606, I mean, I love what he decided to do. Okay. But anyway, we are about to be up. Tyler Higbee, Zach Ertz both go off the board. So it looks like we are most likely going to be looking at Hayden Hurst for our last selection. If not, we're just going to pivot back over to running back or wide receiver where the value is, because I don't want to need these tight ends outside of Hayden Hurst. I guess we could go with Adam Troutman, but I mean, I'm just not as excited with Adam Troutman as most people are. Yeah, Berto, man, I think you definitely had the best draft here. I mean, I think you killed it. You probably made my job a lot harder drafting next to you. Congrats, my man. Okay, so N'Keal Harry going off at the 1505. I mean, what a fall for N'Keal Harry. We are going to be taking Hayden Hurst, calling it a day. And guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me during this live stream. If you have not already, go down there and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell next to the subscribe button if you want to get notified whenever we go live. That way y'all can jump in this mock draft. But yeah, let me show y'all the final draft board at the very end. Okay, so let's go through and let's see where we are on the screen as well. Okay, so let me show y'all this half of it. Y'all can obviously pause wherever you want to. Let me know in the general chat what your favorite team is, or in the comment section of the video after we are done watching. And let me slide this over real quick as well so y'all can see this range too. Honestly, I'm going to be completely just fair, and I did a very bad job in this draft. I was not comfortable picking out of the 6 spot, something I need to work on going forward if I want to crush y'all in our other startups. But anyway, JN coming out with another donation. Thank you, my man. You're saying, rate my team. Would have chosen Darius Slayton over Devin Duvernay. Also wanted to get capital to trade. Okay, so let's go through and let me pull your team up, my man. Yeah, so I assume that you would have taken someone else. I know that was more just a meme pick than anything. But anyway, guys, okay, so JN right here is Nash's cash. Let me go through, man. Instead of rating your team, let me just... We have time. This is a donation. Let me go through every single one of your picks. Okay, so CMC at the 102, not going to fault you there. I mean, for me, it's either going to be CMC or Barkley at the 102, so not going to do anything there. Zeke, I love the thought process of getting the 3-down running back, but I personally would have preferred someone a little bit younger. I would have preferred someone with less mileage. That would be a Miles Sanders. Then in the 3rd round, I think, let me look up, let me switch this over real quick. I'm going to go right back to the... I'm going to go right back to the drop board in a second, guys, so don't freak out about this, but I don't want the screen to look weird. So let's flip over here, and let me look up the Joe Mixon contract. Just because I know with some players like Alvin Kamara, actually it's a very friendly second contract that he has guaranteed money for a while. I have not looked at the specific details of Joe Mixon. So let me look at the Joe Mixon contract and try to determine if I would prefer Mixon or James Robinson. Okay, yeah, so I think you made the correct selection of James Robinson. I mean, after this year, Joe Mixon really does not have that much dead cap on his contract. They could cut him after 2021 if they decide to. So yeah, I like that selection. I'll definitely like that idea of going with the 3-down running back. And then you're not really in the range once Aaron Rodgers is off the board for you to feel comfortable taking that quarterback. So I agree with James Robinson. Then at wide receiver, Allen Robinson. Not going to get into the exact wide receiver picks here because it doesn't matter too much as long as you're picking in the correct tier, which you did with both A-Rob and Terry McLaurin. Jerry Jeudy here is a little bit interesting. I love the profile of Jerry Jeudy. Don't like the situation with Courtland Sutton coming back and not having a quarterback. But really, what are your other options? Are you going to take in the 30-year-old Adam Thielen, or are you going to take Hollywood Brown, who's up and down, Michael Pittman? We also don't know what his quarterback situation is. Definitely a guy with a lot less pedigree than Jerry Jeudy. So yeah, I mean, the Jerry Jeudy, I agree with the selection of a wide receiver, and that matters a lot more here. Actually, I guess you couldn't have gone with Matthew Stafford. The draft board's going this way. Yeah, so Daniel Jones at the 702, fantastic value with Daniel Jones. Then here at the 811, yeah, you have no shot at taking a quarterback. I agree, passing there. Denzel Mims at the... I really like this draft, man. I mean, I think where you messed up is I think you messed up on the Irv Smith pick. I would have preferred to see you go with another quarterback. I would have preferred you seeing you get that 3rd guy instead of your 2nd tight end. But outside of that, I really like your draft. But anyway, Victor coming out says, other than A.J. Dillon, what else did I mess up? Yes, sir. Let me go through and pull that up. Of course, thank you so much for the donation. Okay, so Mahomes obviously killed it. Sanders, Rodgers killed it. Love both those. Godwin killed it. Dylan, you've already heard me say that I really don't like this. I would have preferred to see you go with another wide receiver after you already have one running back that, I mean, guys, with running backs, the thing is, they can, obviously how you win your league is by hitting on running backs with value, because running backs are going to be so volatile where rarely ever are you going to draft a wide receiver in round 10 and he's going to win you your league. But you have that type of upside with a running back. Oh, I'm so sorry. I meant to be showing this draft board. I am so sorry, guys. Oh my God. So I bet that was just horrendous hearing me have to talk through that without even seeing what was going on. But I am sorry. Let me go through now. Let me go through. Okay, so Mahomes, Sanders, Aaron Rodgers, Chris Godwin, all solid. Okay, so A.J. Dillon, the problem here is where's the upside coming from? Because even if Aaron Jones is gone, with A.J. Dillon, he's not going to be a great pass catcher. So I understand wanting to get the stack with Aaron Rodgers, but at the end of the day, I mean, we can't project him to be Derrick Henry because it's such an outlier. I think his projections, a high-end running back too, based on touchdown volume. Touchdown volume is a little bit more volatile. So you're taking him a little bit closer to his ceiling, a lot closer to his ceiling than his floor. So you already know I don't like that selection. I would prefer to see you go with a wide receiver. And then if we slide down a little bit, the question becomes, then where do you decide to pivot over to running back? And I think what you could have actually done is possibly go with Terry McLaurin over A.J. Dillon. And then in the end of the 8th round, then you can decide to go with Myles Gaskin and double it up with Kenyon Drake and try to piece your running back 2 together. That way, instead of Tyler Boyd, I mean, I would definitely prefer the combination of Terry McLaurin and Myles Gaskin over A.J. Dillon and Tyler Boyd, and honestly, it's not even that close for me. I know it's super easy for me to sit here and look at the draft board in front of me and say this after the fact rather than knowing who's exactly going to be available per pick. But just looking at it with that afterthought, I would have liked that move. I also don't like selecting Robert Tonyan over Irv Smith. I mean, if you look at his efficiency, Robert Tonyan's definitely not going to be able to come close to repeating that this upcoming season. On top of that, we know with Robert Tonyan, he's not necessarily a tight end that's going to be able to see a bump up in volume, given the fact the Green Bay Packers will most likely invest into a significant wide receiver 2 this offseason. So I would have preferred to see you go with an Irv Smith there over Robert Tonyan. Love the pick of Mike Williams. You killed the Darrell Henderson. Quintez Cephas, a little bit intriguing with Kenny Golladay possibly gone from Detroit. Honestly, I think now that I talk about Quintez Cephas out loud with Kenny Golladay being gone with the Marvin Jones contract, I mean, he could actually be a fantastic value here. I mean, he's a player that I should probably do a little bit more research into. Maybe I should probably make a video about him. But yeah, man, I think where you messed up is I think you should switch the position you drafted in round 5 and 8. I think you should switch the tight end you decided to draft in round 10. And Jordan Love, I like the value. I mean, if you're just going to assume that Jordan Love has that elite level upside, I think we can get away with that pick. But overall, a fantastic draft, my man. But anyway, okay, Beat Martell says, damn, I've missed pretty much the whole live stream. I'm very sorry about that, my man. If you have not already, go down there and just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have your notification on for the channel. That way you get notified when you go live. You can come in right away. But anyway, thank y'all all so much for coming up here and just hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, go follow me on Twitter. I never send my Twitter out here, but I know some people have been wanting me to bring on new people to the channel lately. And I'll say, nobody's going to come on the channel if I DM them and I have no followers on Twitter. It's going to be that simple. So if y'all have not already, go follow me on Twitter just so I can possibly bring on some new contributors to the channel if y'all would like to see that. Okay, so sent that. And also, I'll say, if y'all want to get involved with the channel, DM me and I'll try my best to get help. I'm going to end it at that. DM me if you want more information. That's going to be on Twitter. But thank y'all so much. I really hope I see y'all with the video tomorrow, and have a great night, guys.